What up, guys? Back again with another UFC Fight Picks video on the UFC Fight Night card, Dos Santos versus Ivanov. Let's go ahead and get started here. So on the Fight Pass prelims, first fight of the night, we got Aguilar versus Jody Escobar. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take Jessica Aguilar here in this matchup. So she used to be, one of the top fighters or top women fighters in the world, but obviously lately she's pretty unknown. She hasn't been looking good in her fights. I know she has some good boxing though, good submission skills. She seems rounded, like a well-rounded fighter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick her in this matchup against Jody Escobar. Don't know too much about her, but I mean, she is actually the favorite, Escobar. But I'm gonna just go ahead and take a shot here at Aguilar as the underdog here. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Aguilar and see what happens. So yeah, I'll take Aguilar by decision. Next fight, we got Mark De La Rosa versus Elias Garcia. So De La Rosa got finished in his debut against Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott pretty much just tapped him out pretty quickly in the second round. Elias Garcia here is cousin of Sergio and Anthony Pettis. And I've seen his highlights. He looks pretty good on the feet. Also has submission skills. So yeah, he looks pretty solid. I'm gonna go ahead and just take Elias Garcia here in this matchup. He is the favorite, -140. Now we didn't get to see all of Mark De La Rosa's skills because he got taken down by Elliott right away, and he got tapped out in that second round. Pretty much didn't do anything at all in that fight. So could be overlooking Mark De La Rosa a little bit here, but Garcia looks solid, so I'll take Garcia to win by decision. Next fight, we got Carmouche versus Jennifer Maia. So I'm going to go and take Jennifer Maia here in this matchup. Just Carmouche here, she's kind of like up and down, doesn't look that great in her fights. She mostly just likes to, go for the takedowns. Her stand-up is pretty non-existent, and I feel like Maia here has a big stand-up advantage, but also has some submission skills on the ground in case it goes to the ground. And you also got Jennifer Maia here as a +115 underdog, and also she was Invicta's flyweight champion. So I just feel like Maia here is the more well-rounded and more complete fighter. And she's gonna have a big stand-up advantage. And Carmouche, like I said, she's not really that good at all on the feet. So yeah, unless she's just able to get those takedowns and lay on top of Maia all 3 rounds, then I mean maybe she could win the fight doing that. But on the feet, I feel like Maia here should be able to win this fight. So I'll take Maia to win, and I'll go ahead and say this fight also goes to decision. All right, guys, moving on to the FS1 prelims. We got Kurt Holobaugh versus Raoni Barcelos. So I really like Raoni Barcelos here in this matchup. I feel he's being kind of overlooked here on the odds. He's +162, pretty big underdog there. And he has, a lot of knockout power. He has a big right hand, good striking. Kind of looks like a technical brawler / brawler type of fighter. But he throws heavy hands, and his opponent, Kurt Holobaugh, also looked pretty good in the Contender Series, the Dana White show. But, we haven't seen him in like a year since that fight, because I guess this guy got suspended by USADA or something like that. He's a lot rangier than Barcelos, though. He has 6 inches more of reach, so 6-inch reach advantage for him. And his striking looked good though in that Contender Series fight against Matt Bissett. He looked pretty solid. But I mean, I'm guessing that's why everybody's picking Kurt Holobaugh. But I really like Raoni Barcelos here. His power looks pretty legit, and I feel like if this stays on the feet, I feel like Barcelos should be able to knock him out. So I like Barcelos here as a good sleeper play that could get a finish. So I'm gonna say Barcelos 2nd round knockout. Next fight, we got Justin Scoggins against Said Nurmagomedov. So this guy's he's a Khabib's cousin, and he kind of fights like Zabit Magomed Sharipov. If you guys don't know about Zabit yet, so he kind of fights like him. He doesn't fight like Khabib. He has very flashy striking. He's also good on the ground. and he's making his UFC debut here against Justin Scoggins, who is the underdog here in this matchup, plus 117, very slight underdog. So Scoggins had some bad luck in his fight against Oka Sasaki. He got caught in that submission, even though he was winning that fight, and he also lost against Pedro Munoz, but I think that was at 135. So yeah, he's back down to flyweight, and yeah, so I expect Scoggins here to actually come back and bounce back from that last loss. Nurmagomedov looks pretty good. Like I said, he kind of looks like a B. He looks solid, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take Scoggins here. He is the underdog, and you know, I like taking some of these underdogs here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Scoggins. I think he comes out here with a win. He might be able to get a knockout. You never know, but since it is a flyweight fight, I'm gonna go ahead and say Justin Scoggins by decision. Moving on to the next fight, I'm gonna take. Oh, actually, we got Darren Elkins versus Alexander Volkanovski. So Volkanovski's been looking like a beast in the UFC. He's been smashing everybody, and now he gets a ranked opponent in Darren Elkins, a guy who's always the underdog. And once again, he is the underdog. You got Scoggins, or I mean, you got Elkins here at plus 255, Volkanovski negative 305. Yeah, I think Volkanovski, guys, is gonna come through here in this fight. I know Elkins had that big comeback win against what was his name? Yeah, Mirsad Bektic, but you know, Bektic kind of gassed in that fight, whereas Alexander has a really good gas tank, and he's just relentless the whole time. Really good ground and pound, great takedowns. I just feel like he's just better than Elkins pretty much everywhere. You know, he's like Elkins, but better, pretty much. I mean, Volkanovski here, way better stand-up than Elkins. You know, more better wrestling, lands more strikes per minute. He's just better all around, man. Volkanovski here should be able to just run through Elkins, and yeah, it's kind of don't want to keep counting out Darren Elkins because he keeps winning, but I think Volkanovski here, this guy, he's gonna smash him. So I like Volkanovski, and I could see him getting a third-round knockout. So Volkanovski, third-round knockout. Either that or dominating decision. But yeah, next fight here, we got Eddie Wineland versus Alejandro Perez as the featured fight on the prelims. Perez keeps winning, guys. I didn't think he was going to win against Matthew Lopez, but he was able to get a knockout. But Matthew Lopez has a bum chin, so I'm not going to say Perez has big power or anything like that. This guy's a decision point fighter. And Eddie Wineland, well, he hasn't been looking great lately. He is coming off a loss against Dotson. Before that, he knocked out Mizugaki, and he knocked out Frankie Saenz. So not exactly, you know, top level guys anymore. But he did lose against the top guys, so I mean, it's not like he's losing against bums right now. But Perez here, he's one of these guys that just keeps on winning. But he's not, I just feel like he's not that great anywhere. I feel like Wineland here is the better striker in the matchup. The thing about Wineland, I feel like he's kind of low volume. His strikes per minute is a little bit less than Perez. Both these guys ain't really high volume strikers. And you got Wineland as a plus 148 underdog. But yeah, I just feel like Wineland here is going to have the better striking, or the better boxing, I should say. And has more power. Great takedown defense. So I feel like if he could keep it on the feet, land those heavy shots, I feel like he could get a knockout against Perez. But like I said, Perez keeps on winning. And, you know, if he keeps on winning, right, everybody's just going to keep on trying to pick him because obviously he keeps on winning. But I'm going to go ahead and just take a shot here at Wineland as the underdog. So I'm going to go ahead and say Wineland, third round knockout. Alright, guys, now we're on to the main card. We got Kat Zingano versus Marion Reneau. I really like this matchup. Both of them have very even styles and even records, actually. 9-3, 9-3-1. Yeah, they're both very, very similar. Very similar. Just look at the stats and everything. They're pretty damn similar right here. But I really like Reneau here in this matchup. First of all, she's just the one that's been looking great lately, whereas Zingano, I just don't know how good she is anymore. She has not looked good in her last couple fights. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the more consistent fighter, Marion Reneau. And she is also a very slight favorite, negative 125. But this is pretty much a pick'em fight. So it's just, like I said, it's a pick'em fight. So it's just, you know, who you like more here in this matchup. But I feel like even though Reneau is older, she has more left in the gas tank. So I got to take Reneau. She's been looking good. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Marion Reneau wins this fight. Both these girls are finishers. But it's going to be hard to finish Kat Zingano. So I'm going to say Reneau by decision. Alright guys, moving on to the next fight. A very good fight. We got Miles Jury versus Chad Mendes. So I'm going to go ahead and take Chad Mendes here in this matchup, guys. Well, I know he's been gone for a while. But Miles Jury, you know, isn't exactly, you know, the best fighter here in this weight class at featherweight. Let's see who he got to win against. His last one was against Rick Glenn. That guy's kind of average. Before that, he beats Mike De La Torre. That guy's not even that great either. So now he's fighting Chad Mendes, a guy who, you know, has obviously, you know, fought for the title. And he's always been pretty much, he's always been like top 5 at featherweight. But he was always usually the #1 contender or #2 contender when Aldo was the champion. So yeah, Chad Mendes here, I think he's still going to be a beast here in this matchup. Very great wrestling, good striking, very fast, explosive, power in his hands. I really like Chad Mendes. He looks great also in his training videos. He looks solid. Miles Jury has very long reach though, so this could be an issue for Chad Mendes in the beginning of the fight. I think he's going to have to, you know, start off, you know, have that pretty much a filling out process in the beginning of the fight, because Miles Jury, I think Jury's more of a counter striker, but I think he's going to want to come out aggressive to try to test Chad Mendes early in the fight. But then again, if he does that, I feel like Mendes could, you know, get one of those takedowns on him. But yeah, I mean, Jury's a threat here for sure in this matchup. He's a lot rangier and he's solid, but I just feel like Mendes here is going to be the better fighter. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mendes. And I don't know if he's going to knock out Miles Jury, but I'm going to go ahead and just say Chad Mendes. I'm going to say by 3rd round knockout, guys. 3rd round knockout. I mean, it's possible he can knock out Jury. He used to be at 155. Now he's on 145. So that chin's going to be a little bit weaker. And obviously Mendes still hits hard. So I'm going to go ahead and just say Mendes, like I said, 3rd round knockout. He could win by decision. And yeah, that's all I really got to say. So moving on to the next fight. We got Randy Brown versus Nico Price. I'm going to go ahead and take Randy Brown here in this matchup. Nico Price got pretty much smashed by, who was it? Vicente Luque. That guy just completely starched this guy. I always thought Nico Price really wasn't that great, but he was undefeated, and everybody was on his hype train and whatever. He got his power, so on and so on. But yeah, we kind of seen, you know, how good he is. He's not that great on the feet. And his takedowns aren't that great either, so he's just kind of average. But he does pack a punch though. But that's about it. Randy Brown, he's also kind of an average fighter, but he has very long range, good takedown defense, very good jab, and I think he's gonna just be able to just kind of piece up Nico Price on the feet here. I think he'll stuff the takedowns and just kind of beat up Nico Price on the feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Randy Brown. Yeah, by decision, guys, by decision. Moving on to the next fight, Bermudez versus Rick Glenn. So Bermudez, man, this guy has just been having bad luck lately. He is still the favorite, -225 against Rick Glenn, who, like I said, he's kind of average, but you know, he comes to fight. You know, he's kind of like one of those blue collar guys. So, you know, the way Bermudez has been looking and then losing these fights, close split decisions, whatever. You know, Rick Glenn could steal the fight, but I think Bermudez, he should be able to get the win this time, guys. This guy's like on a 3-fight losing streak or something like that. But yeah, I think this is a fight he's going to get the win on. I feel like the UFC is giving him guys that he could win against. Bermudez used to be actually in the top 15, and now he's not even ranked anymore. So that, I mean, that just kind of just tells you that this guy's been falling off lately. But I think he's going to bounce back here. Bermudez is still very solid. He has very good striking on the feet. Good wrestling. He kind of reminds me of Chad Mendes, but Mendes has more power, and I think Mendes is a bit sharper on the feet. But he kind of reminds me of Chad Mendes, similar builds. I'm going to go ahead and take Bermudez here in this matchup, and I got him winning by decision. So, yeah, leave it at that. Alright, guys, now for the co-main event, we got Sage Northcutt versus Zach Otto. Of course, I'm going to have to go ahead and take Sage Northcutt here in this matchup. He's a slight favorite, negative 140. Zach Otto, another guy who's just kind of average, not very high output in the feet, not a lot of power, hasn't really beaten high level guys or anything like that. And yeah, Sage Northcutt, this guy, you know, he's lost 2 fights at welterweight. This guy's actually undefeated at lightweight, and obviously now he's back at welterweight, but he says he has a full camp this time. I expect him to look a lot better in this fight. We already know Northcutt has, you know, good power, point karate style, good striking. Could also throw in some takedowns here and there. He's been training at Team Alpha Male. His last fight, I wasn't that impressed, but I think that was a short notice fight. So I expect him to look a lot better in this fight against Zach Otto, a guy who I think, like I said, he's very average. He's not that great, and I feel like this could be a showcase fight for Northcutt. So I'm taking Northcutt, and I'm gonna go ahead and say he is gonna be able to get the finish. I'm gonna say Northcutt, second round knockout. All right, guys, we're moving on to the main event. We got Dos Santos versus Blagoy Ivanov. So this guy's a former champion from WSOF, which is now called the PFL. 16-1. He's only lost once, and yeah, he's making his UFC debut against Dos Santos, who obviously a guy who's fought for the title, has been a champion, but lately obviously has not been looking well. His last fight he didn't look great. Obviously he got knocked out by Stipe, I'm pretty sure. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, so yeah, obviously he got knocked out in his last fight against Stipe. Before that, he beat Ben Rothwell by decision. He just kind of fucked Ben Rothwell up. He looked very good in that fight, and that was a fight. That fight was after the Overeem fight, where everybody was saying, "Oh, Dos Santos is done." And that Ben Rothwell fight, I think that was an even fight, or I think Rothwell was a slight favorite in that fight. So yeah, everybody was counting out Dos Santos. He comes back and he puts on a dominating performance against Ben Rothwell, but then he gets knocked out by Stipe in the next fight, and that was in 2017. So it's been, you know, it's been a good year and a half already since we last saw Dos Santos. So obviously that time off, you know, he recovered that brain a little bit, and yeah, hopefully, you know, helped his chin out a bit. But yeah, his opponent Ivanov, this guy's pretty well rounded, good stand up. I think he comes from a combat sambo background or something like that. But yeah, he seems well rounded, and supposedly I think he's been training with Velasquez and Cormier. I'm not 100% sure on that. But those are guys that could really help, you know, help him fight against Dos Santos, especially Kane. But I feel like, you know, obviously this guy ain't no Kane, so I still feel like Dos Santos here could come out on top. Obviously, he still has that great boxing, still has power, and as we saw in that Ben Rothwell fight, he looked very crisp in that fight. He looked very solid. He was outstriking Ben Rothwell all day, and yeah, we saw Dos Santos. You know, he could still looked good, and in that Stipe fight he actually threw some very good kicks at Stipe, but he just ended up getting caught. So I'm not counting out Dos Santos, and he is also the favorite. But yeah, it's hard to pick Ivanov here in his UFC debut, especially against a guy like Dos Santos. So I'm gonna take Dos Santos, guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and say he gets a knockout, second round knockout for Dos Santos. But you know, as we saw in that Rafa fight, he went all 5 rounds, he landed lots of shots. This fight could also go to decision. So Dos Santos also looks like, you know, he knows how to outpoint his opponents. So yeah, we'll see how the fight goes, but Dos Santos, second round knockout is my pick. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and give you guys my most confident picks. Number 1 would have to be, of course, Volkanovski. Very confident in that pick. The next pick, I really like Chad Mendes, so he would have to be my second most confident pick. Let's see who else. Bermudez. It'd have to be Bermudez. And then after that would have to be Dos Santos. But those are my top 3 most confident picks. Bermudez, Mendes, and where'd you go? And Volkanovski, which is my number 1. And least confident pick would have to be Eddie Wineland. I think this guy could let me down. And yeah, that's all I really got to say, guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and end this video here for you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about my picks. Subscribe for more future UFC fight pick videos. I try to do these UFC fight pick videos every single time there's a UFC card. So subscribe, and like I said, let me know what you guys think about my picks. And yeah, enjoy the fights, guys. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.